Solve the equation cos 4x cos x plus sine 4x sine x equals 1 over the domain from 0 to 2 pi. So first of all, we've never done a question that looks like this before, with so many sines and so many coses. One of the things that I've mentioned in the past is for all of your formulas to be mostly memorized. The reason I want you to have your formulas mostly memorized is so that when you read a question like this and you go through the initial stage of, I have no idea how to do this, then you say after a bit, when you look at it again, hey, I recognize, isn't that one of our formulas? Can you see that the left-hand side of this equation, the cos 4x cos x plus sine 4x sine x, it has four things, two coses and two sines multiplied and added together. That reminds me of one of my formulas. And so if you have your formula mostly memorized that you're able to recognize, hey, I think that's one of my formulas, then you can look at your formula sheet and see which one does it match up with. And if we look on here, cos cos plus sine sine, that's the third one here. It's cos alpha minus beta. So I can rewrite, maybe I put an alpha and a beta above here and an alpha and a beta above here, and I rewrite my equation as cos alpha minus beta 4x minus x equals 1. And in these questions that you don't know what to do right away, well, you see something that you can do, which was the alpha and beta formula, you put it in. Then at each step you ask yourself, is there something I can do next? Well, 4x minus x is like terms. And I get cos of 3x equals 1. Okay, so we've made the question a little bit more simplified, but now it's still having to be solved. What kind of question is it now? We gave these ones a name. Do you remember the name that we gave this kind of question? It's a multi-revolution question. And the reason I give questions names or kind of questions names is because if you can remember the name and you can recognize something, chances are you'll be able to solve it. If you can't remember the name, I guarantee you, you don't remember how to solve it. So how do we, and you won't even think of a multi-revolution question. Probably what most students do at this point is they divide both sides by 3 because they don't like that 3, which is not allowed order of operations. That 3 is inside of the cos. You cannot divide both sides by 3. It's a multi-revolution question. How do we solve multi-revolution questions? Well, we first write the domain in terms of 3x. The domain is x is between 0 and 2 pi, so 3x's would be between 0 and 6 pi. We solve for 3x. Is 1 on your pie plate? Yes. When is cos equal to 1? At 0 and 2 pi. That's the first time around. How many times around do we need to go? 3 times around for 3x. Second time around would be 2 pi and 4 pi. Third time around would be 4 pi and 6 pi. But because 2 pi wasn't included in the original equation, 6 pi isn't included in 3x's equation. Once you've solved for 3x, now we can solve for x. Divide each of them by 3. And we get 0, 2 pi over 3, and 4 pi over 3. All right. Questions are 15 and 17.